feel like there's a lot of commentary channels that have kind of taken up a lot of the fitness space that aren't necessarily a bad thing. I think it comes from a really good place, but I think perhaps the execution has kind of made it feel like the fitness space is in, it feels a bit negative. Like it's like brought like a bit of a negative energy to the space.
I think they're prioritizing short-term views by using titles and thumbnails that are unfortunately quite negative, even when they support the content or the creator that they're reviewing.
I feel attacked right now. Alrighty, guys, gals, non-binary pals, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to be talking about a video that was released by Natasha Ocean, I think is how you pronounce her name. But before we get into that, if you guys see all these lovely people here on the side of the screen, they are here while I am recording this live. I stream on Twitch every single weekday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 2 p.m. We have a lot of fun. We hang out, and we have a lot of really cool people. So if you ever want to join, please feel free to do that. There will be a link in the description. But like I said, today we are going to be talking about a video that was released by Natasha. So let's go over there. So first off, I want to say that this video, most of the stuff in it, there's not much that I have to say about it. So because it's basically like a Q&A that her and her boyfriend or fiance or husband, her partner, that they're doing. So there's some questions that I have input on. And so once this video goes live on YouTube, big chunks of the original video are probably going to be cut out because I just don't really have much to say about it. But there are a few questions that she kind of answers that I think are interesting that I kind of wanted to share my input on. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. If you're kind of confused, I highly recommend you check out her channel. I really, really enjoy her videos. I think that she is a very good role model in this space. Someone that I really think is, you know, doing a good job, her and her partner. I think that they're people that I would, you know, co-sign for lack of a better term. Not that I like to really do that, but I think that they're doing good stuff. Okay? And so without further ado, let's hop into it.
Have you ever tried any drugs, recreational, for focus, etc.?
Welcome back to my channel, my friends. So on Instagram, I asked you guys to ask me some personal questions. Maybe something's been on your mind and you're looking for some life advice, which is why I brought you on. Because I feel like you give really good life advice, and I sometimes give risky advice.
Yeah, if you go to Natasha for...
So this is actually something that's funny because it's almost, this is something that I feel like every single influencer or someone that has a following deals with, is people start asking you questions or expecting you to have answers for things that have zero to do with anything that you have ever talked about on your platform, and they assume that you are going to be an expert on it. Like, I get people asking me for dating advice, and I'm like, bro, why do you think I'm the guy to ask this? Like, I have no idea. I don't know. Why do you think I'm going to solve this problem? And then more seriously, people will have like serious conditions, like medical conditions, and they start asking me for advice. And I'm just like, bro, I went to college for 1 year. Okay. Give me a break here. Okay. I'm just a guy that posts stuff on the internet, but it honestly is, it genuinely is kind of a problem. I think with a lot of people that gain a following, it's very, very, very easy to become kind of full of yourself, and people become very full of themselves, and they think that, you know, their poop doesn't stink and that they can give advice for anything. And I cannot stand that. It's a personal pet peeve of mine. I think you should focus on what you're good at, and the other things be like, hey, I don't really know, or be like, hey, this is what worked for me. I'm not saying you should do it.
For life advice, it's going to be the risky stuff. It's either going to be a huge win or it's going to be
massive losses. You guys have been super open yourselves, asking about what's on your mind, what's really, really on your mind. Don't worry, everything's anonymous. The only ones on the line here are me and Mario.
It are a bit anonymous.
This whole video, it's an open book.
This video is actually a book.
This is actually a book, okay? Read the pages.
Have you ever tried any drugs, recreational, for focus, etc.?
Yes, I have. I've only done one, and I've done the old green.
The old green?
Yeah, the old green.
Not the new stuff?
Not the new green, the Old Testament green. But I have taken it in its many forms. The form of brownies, the form of...
Joint.
The form of
The vape, you've vaped
the vape.
it?
So I've tried it in its many forms, but I will say, and that makes me sound like I'm a frequent user.
Yeah, it does actually.
But I have really only done it maybe like a handful of times.
The last time that we did it, Natasha made a batch of weed blondies for the whole group, and it had a little extra kick.
Yeah.
There was a good like 1 or 2 day hangover, and ever since then I think you kind of put yourself off of them.
Yeah, I did. But anything else, I haven't tried. I think I'm quite paranoid. I have friends also that do like hallucinogens, like mushrooms, but again, I'm gonna stay clear because...
If there's 2 things that Natasha has, is an imagination and focus. So we want to stay away from anything that amplifies those. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Just the one, just the old green, you know?
Yeah, for me, I've talked about this quite a bit, but I've never been someone that really drank or anything like that. I've drunk a few times. And then when it comes to like drugs or like anything like that, I've never been a fan of really anything other than I recently, like very recently, started dabbling in like edibles. I don't want to smoke anything just because I don't want smoke going into my body or anything like that. So I started messing with edibles mainly because of my anxiety, and I just really struggle with it. I personally am still not really sure how I feel about it. I've had some experiences that were pretty good, and then some that I was just like, dude, I did not enjoy that. The day after, I didn't enjoy it. So I don't really know, but you know, those are kind of my answers to that.
Okay, do brands avoid working with you because you expose if they're shady? Thinking of that military keto company.
Oh, what was that called? Human. No, well, I don't feel like they do because I still get approached by a lot of companies that claim they're backed in science. I know where they're coming from because I made that video and that was supposed to be a sponsored video, and then I thought, you know what? Cancel the sponsorship because this is actually a really bad product, and then I slated the product. I don't feel like brands actually look at my videos. I think they literally just look at audience size. Oh no.
100%. This is so true. Brands do not care about the creator. They don't. They see size, they see views, they see dollar signs. That's all that matters. I'm telling you right now. Like, They do not care about you. If you're a content creator, they do not actually care about you as a person. They care about your audience and how much money they can make off of that, which in and of itself isn't a terrible thing. It's the way the world works. It is what it is. But I recently had to deal with this, and I very much so realized brands do not care about me. They don't. And so I don't care about them. All right? It's a two-way street. And this is very, very important. The people that promote things all the time, I'm telling you right now, most of the time, they're not super in love with the product. It is what it is. Does that make them a terrible person? No, it means that they need to earn a living, and that's how they make their money. Am I saying everyone that is sponsored by something doesn't use it and they hate it? No, I'm not saying that either. But a lot of the time, a lot of these videos that you're watching that are sponsored, the person doesn't use it a ton and they're not absolutely in love with it, right? And that's totally fine. If I start getting a ton of sponsorships, let's be real, okay? Do I use the thing all the time and I absolutely love it? No. Are they paying me money? Probably. Does that help me? Yes. If that makes you mad, I'm sorry. All right? But that's just how it works. That's just how it works.
She's got a YouTube channel. Oh, look, it's in fitness.
Yeah, right now the ones that are big are the metabolism hackers. Do you remember them?
Oh, yeah.
The
I've got so many emails about those.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, send me over some science, you know? If you say it's science back, send me over some science. One paper.
Okay. Having said that...
the EMS company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a video where I was slamming the EMS products, you know, those 6-pack. Then they actually took that footage, muted me, and used it for an ad.
This is savage, okay? This is super savage because this has happened to me. I have tried like, oh, I'm gonna do this rap thing, and then the same thing happened to me where I saw ads of people saying, oh, like he used the thing and look at like he got... And they had like a picture of me with a 6-pack, which I don't have because I have a bunch of loose skin. It's ridiculous.
For that product. Like the audacity. Hats off to the audacity.
Yeah, I almost respect it actually.
I'm literally in the middle of saying that this thing doesn't work. and it's in their advert. I mean, the cojones it takes to do something that illegal. Wow.
Another thing that I have that I've had happen to me, which I never really know how to feel about it, because people will message me it and they'll be like almost upset for me. But for me, I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, you know, it's like, that's showbiz, baby, right? It's like I've had YouTube channels use an image of me with my loose skin, right? And then it'll be a video saying, avoid loose skin. And it'll be like, avoid disgusting, nasty loose skin, right? I actually recently had one of those keto, I think it was either Dr. Fung or Eric Berg, one of the other doctors, use my image in one of their like articles that they had on their website saying, if you do fasting and you eat keto, you won't have disgusting loose skin like this, right? And they used an image of mine. That happens to me all the time. And for me, I'm just like, it's impossible to try and go and find all these people and like take that down. It just is what it is. But I can understand that it is frustrating, right?
Do you see yourself as too skinny at the moment, or is this the figure you want to keep? I think I'll always be too skinny in someone's eyes, too muscular in someone else's, too short in someone else's. Like, you just can't please everyone. My priority is feeling my best. That's why I do fitness in the first place, and performing my best. And also maintaining my health. Like, the health can never be compromised. I did decide to target a little bit of fat loss in order to feel my best, because I know that in the past, having been leaner, I do feel like stronger and more agile, but that doesn't.
So here, this is something, again, that I deal with quite a bit, and anybody that is in the space of weight loss deals with, because people, it's really hard when someone wants to lose weight and maybe they've never gone down that road of actually like losing it, which again, that's fine. I'm not like saying, you know, there's something wrong with you, but it's hard to realize that once you lose weight, eventually you have to stop, right? You can't lose weight forever. You can't. So eventually you have to maintain, or you're going to gain a little bit of weight. A lot of times people lose too much weight and they have to gain weight because it's just unhealthy to be at the weight that they are. That it's really hard, and I don't think anyone has an answer for this is what you need to do. This is, once you lose the weight, this is the perfect answer, right? You have to find out for yourself. But this is something I deal with a lot, because people are like, well, at your leanest you're 180 pounds, now I weigh between 220 and 215 pounds. Oh, you've gained weight. And a lot of people think that that is inherently a negative, right? When for me, I have, like, my answer would be the same exact answer, right? I want to be healthy. That is the most important thing, right? For me, losing the weight was about getting healthy, period. That is the most important thing. That's why I don't want to take any sort of steroid. That's why, there's a lot of things that I don't want to do, because, yes, I might look better, but it's going to compromise my health, which is the opposite of why I started doing this, right? And then on top of that, like, I do want to build muscle. And so that is going to mean that I'm going to gain a little bit of weight, right? But sometimes maybe I'm like, hey, I want to cut a little bit, right? So when you are in the public eye, people always think that there must be a goal. When a lot of times, like for me, most of the time there is no physique goal. It's just, I want to be healthy and happy, and whatever that looks like, whether that means I gain 5 pounds, maybe I lose 5 pounds, maybe I start running and so I start naturally leaning out a little bit more, maybe I start powerlifting and I start putting on some size, like all of that stuff. What happens to my body is secondary to the sport or the activity that I'm trying to do. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's the way that it works in my head.
Doesn't mean that fat loss is like the key to all of those problems. Like, in order to feel my best in the past, sometimes I've had to gain fat, and that's
yeah.
So like you want to find that spot again.
Yeah, like I just wanted to find that spot again. But I think where everyone feels their best is different. It's important not to kind of compare across too many people, because everyone feels their best at a different stage. But now I just really want to work on performance, and that's my goal. So wherever my body takes me from there, maybe I will gain a bit of fat, maybe, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be losing anymore, but maybe I will gain a bit of fat, and that's completely fine with me. Also, I will say that I think you're referring to the last video where I did my week of workouts. Yeah,
you looked very slim in that.
I did look very lean in that, and I do tend to look leaner than usual in the first week of my period, and then it fluctuates over like 30 days. So that was a particularly lean week for me, but I would...
Bro, I've said this a million times. Women just have to deal with more crap than dudes. It's not fair.
Is that when, do you feel like that's when that question started then?
Yeah, I feel like that's when that question started. Like, I had lost fat, plus you were also seeing me on a very lean week.
Okay.
You know?
Got you.
Whereas like the average is like probably a little bit...
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how old were you when you lost your virginity? I feel the pressure. I felt the pressure so hard.
We're gonna just skip forward here a little bit. Y'all don't want my advice about this stuff, okay? As I said earlier, I'm not the sex guru, all right? I'm sorry. I am John. I have a mullet, okay? You think I'm getting a lot? I'm not, okay? Stop asking me. I'm just a normal boy. That's it.
Where is your jewelry from? I love it.
All right, I'll do a quick tour. So I've got a few piercings on my ears.
6 minutes late.
All right, so my rings, everyone that's curious, okay? My rings, this one is from Amazon, okay? This was an old spoon that I didn't turn into a ring. Someone turned into a ring, okay? Wow, it's a Rolex spoon also. It's a Rolex spoon. Isn't that so fancy? Don't look at my nails. I'm very good at painting them. Thank you. Okay, and this one is also an old spoon that someone turned into a ring that sent it to me, okay? I know you guys are very curious. All right, there we go, okay.
And so it kind of just evens out.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel, listen to this one, about the fitness influencer space online at the moment? Is it trending up or trending down? So I guess that means in terms of like the quality of stuff that's going out.
I don't like conflict.
It's going down, baby. It's going down. Let's be real.
But in the spirit of being an open book today, I actually think that it was kind of trending up until 2020.
Okay.
And then when 2020 hit during the pandemic, I think since then it's been in a decline. And I'll tell you why.
Tell me
why.
why.
I think there's a few reasons. The first is that I think a lot of content throughout COVID has gone up over-promising like short-term results, and I feel like that means we're not forming healthy expectations and habits in fitness. So we're expecting like quick results and doing it short-term.
I think the other thing that started, especially at the very beginning, were freaking fitness influencers selling plans and saying, I can boost your immunity with this thing or with this product. Dude, oh my God. The beginning of this, the panini, you know, I hated it. I was like, get me out of here. What is happening right now? How has everyone become an expert on immunity? Oh my God, it was so bad. It's gotten to be less bad, but the very beginning, oh man, everyone had a supplement that I wanted to.
The second is I feel like there's a lot of commentary channels that have kind of taken up a lot of the fitness space that aren't necessarily a bad thing. I think it comes from a really good place, but I think perhaps the execution has kind of made it feel like the fitness space it feels a bit negative.
Yeah,
like
I think
it's
that.
like
I feel
brought
that
like a
as
bit of a negative energy to the space.
I think they're prioritizing short-term views by using titles and thumbnails that are unfortunately quite negative, even when they support the content or the creator that they're reviewing.
I feel attacked right now.
Fitness can be quite an intimidating place, and I don't think this contributes to creating a welcoming energy.
So that kind of adds a bit of negativity, even though I think originally the commentary channels are trying to do a good thing.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Like calling people out when, like, I'm not going to call people out.
I think the principle is...
So this is something that I have struggled with, okay? Because I'm going to be honest, okay? Maybe I'm going to be too honest. But I am naturally, actually, very negative, okay? I'm a very negative person. Not outwardly to other people, but inwardly to myself. There is no one that I have ever met that is meaner to me than myself, okay? That's just how I am. And it does influence my decisions and the things that I do. And so a lot of the videos that I make, I doubt that they were talking about me. I would be surprised if they even knew who I was, right? But a lot of times the titles and the thumbnails are a little bit more negative than what the actual video is. And like they said, yeah, it's to hopefully drive clicks and drive attention and get people clicking on the video that might think that, like, yeah, I agree with that negative, personification or whatever, that negative thought that is being portrayed in this title and thumbnail. And so my goal is always to flip the script and be like, let me offer you a different perspective, right? Let me make you think a little bit of a bait and switch, right? Make you think that I'm sitting here agreeing with you, but let me share my perspective that I think hopefully is a little bit more nuanced and shares a little bit more, humanity, I guess, instead of just being completely upset and mad, right? But at the end of the day, right, I wish I didn't have to do that. But it is what it is. Like, when it comes to YouTube, title and thumbnail, sadly, are so important. It just is, right? If I could make content like Natasha and, get the views that she does, that'd be awesome, right? But at the same time, even if I did, I like being able to have people that trust what I say and know that I am not going to give them BS, right? Know that I am not going to sugarcoat anything, but also that doesn't mean that I'm going to be overly mean and intentionally try and rip someone down because I know it'll get me views, because I know that I could be, and I know that if I was more mean, I know that if I was more rude, I know that if I was more black and white and didn't try and find the gray area and try and share, what I actually think, I know for a fact my channel would do better. But it doesn't, no matter how good my channel does, is worth me not being able to sleep at night, right? And so I've had to find a happy medium where, yes, sometimes the titles and the thumbnails and all of that stuff is a little sensationalized, but it doesn't affect how I sleep at night. I still stand behind the stuff that I've made, right? But that doesn't negate what they've said here, and I don't even necessarily disagree with what they're saying. I understand where they're coming from, and it has seemed like more and more people, it's the nature of the beast. I'm telling you right now, the more negative and mean and just over the top you are, you're going to get more views that way. You just will. I promise you. It's just how it works. And so people that are fine with doing that, that's what they do. And it works for them, Everyone's different, right?
Was great. I think the execution we're not fully there yet to what they can be.
That's the second thing, we went on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
And then the third is that I feel like people are now using science in their content, even though they don't actually understand what they're talking about. And that actually is terrifying. A, they don't understand what they're saying. Mm-hmm. B, using science in vain. It hurts.
You're saying we're slightly...
I think we're on the slight decline. I feel like it's where you can just kind of
turn it
around. We can bring it back. We just need to be a bit more positive and constructive towards each other. Mm-hmm. Lead a bit more by example. Talk about what we know and do what we're good at. Because there are creators out there that are doing stuff that I think has deviated from what they're actually good at.
Yeah, true.
And it's very easy to lose your sense of who you are when you create content on YouTube.
We can bring them back.
Crank.
It's all...
Yeah, and that's what I think. Like I said earlier, a lot of people, when they start getting views, they start thinking, oh, if I'm right about this, I must be right about everything that I think about. So let me make content about everything that I think about, right? Every aspect of fitness, every aspect of weight loss, every aspect of all of this stuff. When I try and focus my content on things that I feel that I am competent at and that I can talk about, right? I'm not going to talk about the science of all of this other stuff because I don't know about that stuff, right? Am I going to make a workout routine this is the best thing to add mass to your shoulders? No. Why? One, I don't care. And two, I'm not the guy. There's other guys that can do that, right? And so for a lot of people, I'm telling you, if you've never been there, I get it. But if you've been at the point where you start getting this traction and people start listening to you, it's so easy to just be like, oh, because people will. That's another issue with the parasocial relationship. People put way too much trust and weight behind what some influencer might say. Even if they seem like they're really smart, it's everything they say is the gospel truth. That's also dangerous. I don't want people to just because I made a video, it's the only way to do things. That's just my opinion, right? But this video is there's still 10 minutes left. None of the other stuff in the video is really worth me talking about. It's just it's not worth me like going over. But if you do want to check out the video, it will be linked in the description. But yeah, thanks to everyone that stopped by and checked out the video. If you made it to the end, it really does mean a lot. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Peace.